cover because this is the accelerated course. So I'm literally covering a year and a half in 1 year with all the interruptions that come with middle school, like assemblies and this, that, and the fourth. So we have a lot of things that we have to take care of in a small amount of time. I also provide guided practice for them many times, not as much as it happens in maybe Math 8, but if I see that we have a few extra minutes, I'm like, hey, go ahead and get started on your homework, so if you run into any bumps along the way, I can answer your question before you go home. Now, I really don't care if they use a math notebook or binder, just as long as they stay organized. And they will always receive a packet for every unit that we do, because I want to make sure that they have more than just, notes that are by hand, and then you know how that goes with middle schoolers. So they have a packet. A lot of times I do guided notes once again because there's so much information to cover. As far as grading goes, we do not grade anything other than the tests, the quizzes, the performance assessments, and then there's one other thing, exit tickets. I will grade those if it's something that I've gone over and over and over and over, and I'm trying to see that improvement in students. I will put that in the grade book. As many of you probably already know, they take the exams this year. That's new for our 8th graders. So in December, the last 3 days, they'll take exams. Any class that is a high school credit will count for 20% of their grade. Now, during the second semester, we don't give them an actual exam that's generated by teachers because they take the Algebra 1 EOC. That's enough. So we go through and review for weeks leading up to the EOC. We review in our classrooms, we review together, all 4 classes this year. So we make sure that they have everything they need. And I'm going to go to the big one, the Blackboard calendar. On Blackboard, I pulled it up so you could see the student view of it. This is what your students see when they log on to Blackboard. You should have access as a parent because I hit permit parents when I was setting up my class on Blackboard, but if for whatever reason you can't see it as a parent, please let me know, because I'm thinking it works and I won't know that it doesn't work unless someone tells me. But we've got things up here that are general announcements for the grade level. But then if you come over to the left, you'll see the syllabus, study sessions. I'm having to make a slight change to that. I'm trying to be consistent with the other teams. Wednesday is now my accelerated only day. So it's from 7:40 to 8 a.m. All that we ask is that students are here before 7:50. After 7:50, they can't come down the hallway. And plus at that point, it's kind of tough to really answer all their questions in 10 minutes or less. So I don't really care that they have a pass. They don't have to have one because my sign will be up. They'll come on down, I'll answer their questions, and I keep a sign-in sheet to make sure that, if you ask were they really here, I can tell you yes or no and it be accurate. I keep a calendar for every unit. Our first 2 units we pushed together because the information was so similar. So if you go to the calendar, you will see that I have videos here. I embed videos in the PowerPoint. I put helpful videos, just in the calendar itself. I also post my answer keys. So anytime they complete a homework assignment, they can check it in class, but you can too. Because as a parent, I know my 6th grader came home with having a quiz about erosion and weathering, and my head started spinning. So I know that struggle of, I haven't done this in forever. So I try to meet parents there too to help them out because I know how that feels. Another thing you'll see are my PowerPoints. So you see here that any annotations I've done pop up in the PowerPoints. So beforehand, I post the blank PowerPoint. After I teach a student during 7th period, I go back and post that PowerPoint again with all of my notes. So I'm trying to make sure that you have everything you need as well. And you'll see that I create extra quizzes for them. So I'm trying to push out a whole lot of stuff. Because some students, they will do the extra practice, some won't, and that's fine. But one thing that I stress in this class, and I keep telling them, guys, it's a high school credit course. This is different from any other math course you have ever experienced in your life. It flies by. So what they can't afford to do is just go home and just sit and do homework just for the sake of doing it. You've got to study. So when I say study math, one of the things I did as a student was I would go home and read the notes that my teacher gave me that day, and I would work through those examples to see if my answers at home matched up with what we did in class. That was step one. Step two, I'd go through and do my homework. And I literally had a dry erase board at home, and I've got one now for my kids, a dry erase board that costs maybe $12 at Walmart, and we use that to go through and do extra practice. But they have to do it every day. A lot of times we might have to split our test into 2 days. Like there was so much content with these 2 units that we split it into 2 days across the 8th grade because we didn't want to try to have them do that much work in one class period. It's just not fair to them. So I would definitely encourage you guys, have them study. I'm here on Wednesdays for the study sessions. I don't mind helping. They just got to show up. Ooh, I'm tired, y'all. I think I answered all the questions that I thought I might get, but if I didn't, I'll be happy to answer any right now. I tried to cover everything, but my goodness, I could have forgotten. So does anyone have any questions for the good of the group? You know, maybe there's something you're still wondering about? No? Oh my gosh, y'all are so quiet. Oh my goodness. Well, I think I put everything in here. Talked about the high school credit. I don't think there was anything else. I will tell you this though. This is part A of the course where they get all of algebra, they get half of geometry. Next year, they'll get the other half of geometry. And towards maybe in January, February, that's when we do recommendations to either push on to the next level of the course or repeat the course again. So, I think that was that.
What is a quizzes?
Oh, a quiz is. Thank you for asking that. It's a little review that I create for the kids. Sometimes in Accelerated, we can't get to this in class because we're doing so much other stuff. But I always post these because they're related to what we're doing in class. So if they want to do something outside of the homework, maybe it's they're studying for a quiz, then they can always click on my little quizzes that I create. They can play the solo game. So I'll click on it so you see. They can turn the timer off, start the game, and, sorry that's so loud. When you got a class of 30 kids, that's not loud though. So they would have to look at this and then go through and write what's happening in this picture in interval notation. And it gives them instant answers. Like, I'm just going to hit this. See, they can automatically see this one's wrong, this one's right. So they get instant answers. And I try to do those, like I teleport the questions in and I make sure that the answers are correct. And they can go through and play a solo game at home and they can get extra practice. So I try to do that a lot because, you know, a lot of times there aren't extra resources out there for what we teach in this class. So we just have to do what we can. Even the reviews that they have for their test, you'll see I posted the test review, the key to it, my answer key, everything. I give them everything. I'm pouring out my heart on Blackboard, so there it is. And I do want to tell you guys about textbooks. You'll see those in the back of the room over here. I haven't given those out yet because they're new. We just pushed out our textbooks in Math 8, so we're taking it step by step. We don't use textbooks a lot. We just don't. A lot of times they don't even have what we need in them. But we are going to give them out to students next week along with the workbook so that we can start our arithmetic sequences unit. And there will be online access, but once again, the county hasn't given us that yet for that particular course. So once we get it, we'll push it out to the kids. All right. Wow, let me tell you, I joke with my kids all the time. I'm like, guys, I need to go back and just cancel that Planet Fitness membership because I don't go anyway. But now I feel like I need to go so I won't be panting after I finish talking and walking back and forth in the front. So, well, I'm not going to hold you guys. If you've got any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Otherwise,